Okay, hello friends. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see who is here. Andreas, Nekotato, hello. Sunny, Unk, you taking the afternoon off? Yeah, early off. Ma check. I'ma drop the N-bomb. Chappy hole nuclear. Rob, hello. Happy Friday. Thanks for the 41 months. Thank you. Funky, how's it going? Rorschach, hello. Kev, how's it going? Lamp. Happy Friday, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, hello friends. How you all doing? Good to see you all. Diego, what amp do I gas? I don't know what the good stuff now is. I to be honest, I don't follow audio to know what's good and what's bad. So why don't you just ask Borky or people in the KeyKollectiv server also are like really into audio, right? I'm talking to Gas God Mally. Yeah, there we go. Mally knows how to gas properly, so just ask Mally. All right, folks. So today we are going to be checking out I almost said tonight, with the URSA keycaps. These are Topre OEM slider compatible keycaps. Lately we have had quite a lot going on in the areas of like EC compatible stuff, but a lot of it has been sort of like focused on EC MX conversion. And what's cool about URSA is that, you know, this is a project that's been in the works for quite some time, actually. I remember kind of participating in like a little like, I'm not sure if like surveys, right? But basically kind of like, you know, just like giving feedback on parts of the design and things like that before the pre-order was held. And then the pre-order happened a while back. And, you know, we are pretty much... they're getting ready to, you know, get them fully produced and shipped pretty soon. So I believe the shipping for the final product is around like, is it scheduled for like late this year? So like November perhaps. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. The website is ursa.fkcaps.com, and you can find all the info there about the process. And so I got they're, you know, kind to reach out. I didn't participate in the pre-order at the time because I was somewhat, to be honest, I was somewhat disillusioned with the non-OEM options in the market. Specifically, like I was not really happy with High Pro for a while, and so I was like, I'm sort of skeptical about spherical profile caps for a bit in the Topre space, and so I kind of like laid a little far off from that, and I didn't get on the pre-order at the time. But you know, I've always kind of been like, oh, maybe I should get some blanks, you know. But yeah. Anyway, did you get the extra control? Yes, I just slotted him in the box here. It's inside here. Yeah, I did get the extra control for the rotated RF cap. Although I think today we won't need to use it, but I'll show it for sure. Oh. If you hear someone talking in the background, you don't mind it too much. Anyway, yeah. So we got some samples. I brought some boards. I have my MX board here currently plugged in, but I brought my Realforce. This is it's like 84, but this is basically in 86 internals, 86U internals in a in a 89 case, right? So I think the exterior on this one is actually the 86 bottom, but the top is from the Realforce 89. And I have Pro 2 here. This is HHKB Professional 2. with some of the lasered Realforce caps and some modifiers from KeyKollectiv and some artisans, right? And then over here, I have another Pro 2. This one has the little anti-vibration mat. This one, I think has, I think these all both have 45 gram, but they're slightly different. So another Pro 2 over here. And then, oh, bye. Oh my god. And then over here, I have a Pro 1, but this one is actually stock, you know. It's completely stock. As you can see, the Pro 1 is fully unlubed. So the space bar is a shipwreck. Yeah. KKKK bar, yes, indeed. So I got a stock one just, or like as stock as possible, because I tend to modify all my boards, so that to kind of show that as well. So, you know, just a few options here. Obviously, I got them in black because they're compatible with this. So, you know, you can kind of take a look at that. All right. So let's talk about the keycaps. So the keycaps come in various kits. Currently I have the, oh yeah. Sorry about that. So they come in various kits. Here I have alphas, extensions, and modifiers. So we can just start by unboxing these, right? And also show you what the packaging looks like. There are some details here in the packaging that are not final, but you know, it has a description of the whole process of double shot PBT keycaps, and basically talking about the edges and the deep dish and the double shot legends and the convexity of the profile and the skirt lips that's characteristic of OEM profile keycaps for Topre, and also convex modifiers, right? So pretty cool stuff, and you can find out more info about these on FKcaps.com, right? And on the front, it just says URSA, kind of like this big glare light. And so we kind of have the wob colorway, like the white and black sort of colorway here. So fully packed up here. They come in nice plastic trays over here. What's kind of nice is that even the trays have the little alpha, little kind of like molding on it. I did put the spare control keycap here in the big box, but this will also, they'll modify the trays to accommodate the inclusion of this. So this is a separate keycap that we currently have for the rotated version of the control 1.5U key on Realforce. So this typically on 87Us, you will find the basically like the perpendicular stem, and so this one has the opening of the OEM stem sideways, because this is for the LED keycap on the bottom left corner, typically on 87Us. In my case, I think I should have that. Oh, I think that is the rotated one, isn't it? We'll see. And then so here is the modifiers. So here we have kind of like the nav cluster, FRO stuff, and the numpad. We have here our space bars and bottom row keys. So this is the extension kit. So that kind of like, you know, extends to additional stuff for like TKL and whatnot. And then on the regular modifier kit, we have the, like, you know, arrow kit and basically bare bones for like HHKB, for example. So HHKB would pretty much be covered by this segment right here, and then you get extra stuff for TKL stuff on the rest. So there's some 1.25s and whatnot. So let's open them up, because you won't get the real look of the profile unless they're actually on a keyboard. I think it's unfair to just look at them just in the packaging. So let's go ahead and take these away from here. Yes, extra stuff is for 660. Yes, right. So you do have the second 225 arrow keys, caps lock. Oh right, and yeah, the 2 keys for the 660C, which I actually still haven't had in a while. I had a 660C at the very beginning of my time in the hobby, like 8 years ago, and then I never ended up purchasing one again because I was so satisfied with HHKB. So I just ended up keeping HHKB and sold my 660C. Never really ended up being interested in getting one again. Which board is the brown one with GMK copper? This is the Machina Cloud9 R2 in full copper. That's currently live actually on Group Buy, but it's the board that I most recently reviewed for Machina, and so let's get these all opened up. You used a PEI plate? Yes, I did. I did end up using the PEI plate on that one. So, okay. So how about what we can first start doing to have a solid basis of comparison, both in terms of sound and kind of like how things feel and how things are. We can type on this board first on the Realforce. We can start with the big one first, and then we can go to the HKB afterwards. And then, basically type on OEM, switch it to URSA, and then do the same, right? Put the salamander on my desk for the first time in a while. Forgot how good this board sounds. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move a few things over here. Get this out of the way. I'm still kicking myself for selling my 660C. Oh, that's fair. That bomb came off. Alright, so I think I need to plug in this cable. If I recall correctly, I bought my first FC660C after you recommended it. I mean, it's a great board. I just preferred the 60% layout and the feel of HHKB. And then later I got a Realforce because I wanted a TKL. But yeah. Okay, so let me check the specs of my current Realforce that I have here that have different specs for my different boards. So I'll type that into the chat, and I can type away on it, and then we can go ahead and swap over to the URSA keycaps, and then we can go from there. So Realforce, Topre. So this Topre is what I put Realforce 84UB. It has 86U internals. It has a steel stock plate, the stock OEM Realforce plate. It currently has variable domes. And it is, okay, so this has variable domes. Variable domes. This has TriboSys 3203 alphas, Krytox 205G0 mods, and then we have, you know, 10th anniversary, you know, 10th AE OEM caps. 7U is from what's Kiko's brand name? For a second I forgot. Amano Studio. Yeah. Does that RF with the forehead sound different from the one without the forehead? Yeah, they do. They do. The inner construction is different in terms of like how they sit on the case. So they do sound pretty different, yeah. Also, like, the future iterations come with like padding inside, right? All right, so that's the specs of this one. So let me adjust the mic over and let's try typing on it. All right, have a good stream. Okay, bye, Soran. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Okay, so audio good? All right. So let's try out this RF. Move it. Okay. Oh, that's kind of uncomfortable. Here. All right, let's try out the Realforce as I have it here, and then we're gonna switch over to the URSA caps, and then we can go from there. Okay. All right. Here with the OEM. All right, so there is our OEM. So I believe these are silenced as well, so something to note. Yes, a Topre keycap set, Mr. Frank. Are in the mods. So like fairly soft sounding. I do have silencing on this, and just in general, my lubing is on the lighter side. But you know, variable domes, so you do kind of hear and feel some variation in the way this kind of feels and sounds, really. And the spacebar kind of hits heavily on the case because it is made out of resin that's effectively different from the rest of the OEM caps. Not to mention they also have, you'll see, I'll be showing you shortly, but it also has some wall support for a lot of Keyco stuff. So it kind of clacks harder on the case. So just something about these space bars. But you know, in regular use, it's not bad. So let's go ahead and take off the caps and outfit it with some WOB URSA. Do you O-ring it for later? Yes, I believe these are silenced. Let me double check. Silencing rings. Anniversary edition Realforce. Topre variable. Yeah, I think I did silence these, yeah. Oh, for my Amano. Yeah, no, not the bar. No, I didn't. I think I only have the. I'm not even sure if I still have the OEM spring on it. You know, the spring that comes on space bars for most OEM boards. I'm not sure if I still have it there. I think I probably do. We can check. Have you played Final Sentence? It's a game about typing and Russian roulette. No, I have not. Sounds fun though. Yeah, no, I'm not. I know that you're talking about a different thing, Neko. All right. Let's see what our code slot key here looks like. It's a little harder to grab. Okay, I do have the sideways stem on this because I do have the LED key. I believe on my other, so I have a different Realforce which I've also like 84 IFI'd, and that one I believe has a regular vertical directional stem for the lower left key because I was using different keycaps on it. That was not the LED keys. 40 people typing the same thing and mistakes can cost you your life. Oh, that sounds kind of fun. Go ahead and take these off. With Topre, for sure you need a keycap puller because the way they attach to keycaps, I mean to the stems on Topre, it's different from MX. MX uses friction. Basically there is a cruciform, right? And then the keycaps themselves have like an orifice with a cruciform shape that you know, it relies on friction to just kind of sit there. With Topre, it's a little bit different, where the bottom of the keycap has like these, you know, open prongs essentially. They like snap closed, and then you kind of have to get past this bump sort of to be able to pull them off or to push them on to snap it on. And so it's not the easiest thing to remove by hand. So it's better to have a keycap puller at all times with Topre. Your HHKB build guide on YouTube was so clutch. I needed it so badly when I first got my board. Had to pull up the YouTube to see if I was tripping. Oh, good. I'm glad that people find that useful. I know that it's not a compact guide by any means because it's just a recording of a stream. So I personally find it like, you know, it's not the most appealing thing. I get it. It's nicer if I could just make it compact and basically do a step-by-step, but I don't have an editor and I personally can't be bothered at the moment. And so, you know, it's just been like that for a long time. All right, let's start. So here we have our first keycap, our escape. nice snap. We have our classic snap on Topre. Then we'll also use our nice convex key here for the bottom row. Everyone loves a nice Topre snap, that's for sure. So much that even like artisan makers will be very diligent about having that. Okay, let's put the nice rounded ones, rounded top ones for here. And then I'm gonna need some stuff here. So now this is from the extension kit. So we're gonna use our 7U bar. 7U bar is quite nice. It has both the 6U and the 7U stem supports, which we need depending on. Very nice. Also concave, yes, concave. My bad, my bad. Concave, convex. I always get them confused. That's my fault. Yes, concave, concave, convex. What's the easiest way to remember that? There was like a trick for remembering that specific thing. Always forget. I remember in physics class they used to teach you how to remember that. Concave? Cave! Okay, okay. Concave is like caving in, convex is coming out. Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we have convex arrows and a concave up arrow at the moment. I just did it so that it's nice and consistent with the rest of the bottom row. I got slightly confused for a second because it says previous and next, but that's essentially the page up, page down keys. They're looking beautiful though. So, okay, so now they look so comfy. I'm already liking what I'm seeing because they are feeling different from the way I felt about Hi-Pro. I unfortunately am not the best person to ask anymore about Hi-Pro and its differences because I haven't had Hi-Pro for many years now. I sold my Hi-Pro at the worst time, okay? You know, Hi-Pro goes for a lot now, right? But I actually bought 104 UK and I bought like everything, you know. I bought like the Just Systems and the Nisho and the 104 UK Hangul and all these boards for a ton of money, and then I sold them when there was a big dip in Topre interest. And so I actually sold my 104 UK for like under 400 bucks or something like that. And then I sold like my Edius, and my Nisho was like pretty cheap too, I think. I gave really good deals back in the day. And then, you know, like a year or so later, year and a half maybe, prices shot back up like crazy. And I was like, oh, I thought people were no longer interested, and then like it all shot back up. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, great. I actually sold most of these at a loss because at the time no one was interested. But you know, Buy high, sell low. That's the strat, guys. Always keep your balance in the negative. Then you will never have to worry about it hitting 0. Just kidding, just kidding. Don't be like that. So here are the alphas. We are just left with the R1 pipe and the 6U spacebar, which is what's appropriate for like HHKB, 86, 87U, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's take a quick look first at just a quick comparison of the profile. I forgot to kind of show it side to side from OEM to this, but I think I can just do it with the HHKB that I have here. So let's do this. Can you compare these to Hypro? No, I cannot. I don't have Hypro with me. I just don't have Hypro anymore. I do not own a single Hypro board or Hypro key set. I do not own any Hypro now. It's unfortunate. Like, ask me like a few years ago, I would have had it, but not anymore. I only use OEM now, so yeah. Boss is flexing. All right, so that's what URSA looks like from the side. Look at that. Look at that profile though. It's so pleasant. It's nice and like lower comparatively, and the concavity of the keys is not that extreme as you expect from like a high pro set. And I really like how the 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of comes back here. And even when you move to your convex keys over here, they're not that aggressive. They're it's subtle and it's nice and tapered here. It's nice and kind of like almost like a fillet. It's very nice. It's quite nice. It's a very pleasant keycap profile for sure. And then let's compare that to OEM really quick. Just to kind of show. So that's what my HHKB looks like, right? And so OEM obviously has the standard OEM profile has just like sharper corners and sides, and that's how it looks like, right? Of course, different boards, but just to kind of give you a sense of what it's like. It's very nice. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in. Ooh, very exciting. Okay. All right, and then let's try this out right away. It looks so nice. So I guess one thing I will ask to Andreas is, are the homing keys, the only difference between a homing key and a regular key is just the homing bar, correct? We don't have any additional scooping on these because the scoop seems to be identical to me for the home row. Just no deep dish, just a bar for the homing, which is actually quite nice. It's very attractive. It is similar to OEM in the sense that OEM has its regular cylindrical, and then you have a bar for the homing. Whereas like you compare to like MX stuff, like in Cherry Profile you have a deep dish, right? Or like in other things you also have a deep dish, which sometimes can be very extreme. And in Hypro in particular, the home row deep dish is like really extreme. It just completely cups your keys. I mean your hands, your fingers, right? And so I personally was not a fan of that. Not to mention the texture of like both actually relatively unused and well used Hypro was I don't know, it felt like it was cupping a little too much of the fingers. Felt like my fingers kind of like were slowing down when I moved from key to key, and that's actually the part that I didn't like the most about Hypro. It was just a little, I felt slower generally. I felt like it was just a little too much for tactile feedback, so to speak, especially when they're like in motion. So yeah. Deep dish homing keys just make me want all the keys to be deep dish. Yeah, right. And the inconsistency can be a little bit bothersome to some people, right? All right. It locks your fingertips in. Yeah, but on the same key the whole time is kind of uncomfortable, right? Lock in. All right, let's try typing on this though. So the mic is in the same position as it was earlier, and let's try it out. Very nice. So I will say the scoop on these keys is still pretty significant. Like, I would say it's not as aggressive as I felt about Hypro, I would say. But it's aggressive enough that you definitely, it depends on how you type. Like, everyone types a little bit differently, but when I'm moving from, let's say, the home row to these keys over here, I tend to translate kind of close to so funnily enough, some of my like outside fingers translate a little bit like further up, but like, for example, like my index finger and my like ring finger sometimes translate a little bit close to the keys. So depending on how that scoop feels, I can feel some of the edges of the keys, and so it's significant enough that you feel that they're there. The hug is pretty obvious. So if, for example, if you've tried other MX profiles, like if you've tried like MT3, right? Or even like compared to like MT New on the GMK side that's been recently out, I would say MT New has a less aggressive scoop than this one does. This one is gonna be kind of somewhere in the middle, where the scoop is aggressive enough for you to actually tell that they're always there, but not quite to the point where that they're like locking your fingers in to like that one place. So if you're into like spherical or like profiles that have a semi-aggressive scoop, this is definitely like on that side, I would say. That said, it is nice that the keys are not very tall, and basically the shift in height between from different rows of the profile is not as aggressive, and so it's pretty comfortable to use. I am appreciating a lot the convexity of these bottom row keys. The spacebar feels super comfortable to use, and and I mean, I'm currently not using any of these shortcuts down here, so I can't really say much about that, but I'm sure it's a comfortable transition between those two. So, but yeah, the dish is definitely deep. So you will definitely be noticing that when you're typing on this. Okay. Also, mind you, my keyboards have not been retuned in some time. I tuned these like years ago, and I haven't retuned a lot of my Topre stuff. So if it doesn't sound like optimal Topre sound, that's why. Like, just be mindful that my stuff is not like the newest and the greatest. So I'm going to be trying it out in different keyboards for that reason. Okay. So yeah. So let me go through the mods and the alphas here. So I'm just gonna go through the rows. one thing that I always check with homing keys is, especially when it's a bar, the bar needs to be significant enough, right? You need to know that the bar is there. You need to know that the homing key is a homing key. I do like how it's placed right by the edge of the bottom side of the key here. That it's very clear that this bump is like right there. So I do like that the homing key is serving its intended purpose, especially given that this part is not a straight line, okay? Like the bottom, edge here or not the bottom, I guess the bottom side of the top edge of the keycap is not a straight line, and the bar is actually also a slight curve, and so it goes parallel to the line of the edge, and so you can clearly tell it's more than just the edge of the keycap, and the homing bar is there, so it's pretty nice. It's serving its intended function, which it's always a good thing about a good homing key, so to speak. And this is why, like for deep dish, the scoop needs to be significant enough for you to actually tell. So pretty nice. Okay, let's go with the modifiers now. Quite nice. If you're stuck on an island, would you bring Topre or MX switches? If I'm stuck on an island, probably Topre. I feel like, for me, Topre represents a very different appeal. Like, Jerry MX is nice because it's widely compatible and it has so many options. But Topre is a comfortable, a reliable, best friend situation. It's the friend who never lets you down, the friend you can always go back to when something bad happens, even something good happens, right? They're always there for you. That's Topre. Topre is always comfortable to kind of lean back on and go back to. It's always there at the office, ready to be typed on, or at the workstation, or your gaming station, whatever it might be. But it's just a good old reliable, just, I think that's what I like about Topre the most. It's just consistent and reliable, and yeah, it's not complicated. It is a rubber dome, it is a rubber dome. It is, all the things that people may criticize about it, and yet it's still good. So, that's kind of how I feel about it. And so I kind of don't feel the same way about MX as I do about Topre for that reason. Okay, so we have done this on the Realforce, and it looks very clean. I will here now switch the view over here so you can kind of see it on a different angle. And yes, HHKB lightweight and replaceable. Like, once you're out of this island, you can get a new HHKB if you ruin it. But yeah, there it is. That's what URSA looks like over here. Just fantastic. Here without anything on the. Just look at that. Look how nice that looks. It's very, very nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out this on an HHKB now. So we're not done. So let's start with the modded HHKB. Oops, sorry, I might have moved the camera there for a bit. Okay, maybe this one. I think this one has. I have purple sliders on this. So let's try it on this. And yeah, I think Neko, you earlier said something like unintended red samurai. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, the like reddish color went, like the bloodish sort of color of the red went well with the black and the gold. So again, same kind of you know, disclaimer here is that, you know, I haven't modded these HHKBs in a while, so some of the mods might not sound perfect, or the lubing might not be like as consistent as it once was. Like I modded these years ago, but exactly what I like about Topre though is that it's still pretty good even after all these years. So. Yeah, exactly. It's all a personal thing. For me, Topre modding has a very like special place, and that's because Topre is kind of where I started actually. I mean, I do a lot of MX now, but I did start with Topre when I first ventured into mechanical keyboards as a hobby, to be specific. Like I obviously did get exposed to Cherry MX first. But then what I fell in love with was actually HHKB, like Topre. And so when I got out of my first meetup back in 2016, I purchased an HHKB, and at the time the Nova Touch was still fairly available. Not like on stores, but like on Mech Market. It was pretty decently priced, and so I got a Nova Touch and an HHKB right away to try out. Okay, this gives me an opportunity to brush these off for the dust. Using the spacebar spring, I've always used it. I don't know why I wouldn't. I like using it. I do like it there. Okay, now let's see here. So we need our alphas. What happened to the Nova Touch? I ended up, so I used it for several years. I used it between 2016 and, I guess, 2017. And like I would say like late 2019-ish. And then it was in its original case for a long time. And then I put it in a Nova Touch case for a bit. Took it back out of the Nova Touch case. And then I eventually sold everything related to Nova Touch because I was used to using the HHKB. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep the HHKB and sell the Nova Touch. So I ended up settling with using HHKB for most of my Topre use, and then decided that I preferred having MX as MX and Topre as Topre. Essentially, it was my like conclusion from that whole journey. It was that I think Topre really shines as Topre, you know, and MX really shines as MX. And mixing the two together is cool, but not necessary. So I ended up selling the Nova Touch. And I think a lot of people arrive at this conclusion too, which is totally fair. Now I think with, you know, with Dynacap and all these cool new things that are happening in the EC field, right? Like, I genuinely am excited for what's going on, you know? I think they genuinely look awesome, and I'm personally a big fan of all that. So I'm happy that we have these hybrids now, and I'm happy that we have all these new options now. Like, it's so cool to see these new developments, because before, you know, you essentially would sign up to it at a disadvantage. You know, you sign up to it and you know that you will have keycap interference. You know that you will have a subpar slider experience. You know that you will be fighting out against the stab situation, like stabilizers or like a keycap size situation, you know? And so it was problematic in so many ways that I personally was like, yeah, no, you know what? I'm just gonna completely dichotomize these and separate these, and it will no longer be a problem if I just keep Topre to Topre and MX to MX. Same goes for things that I collect or artisans or whatever, you know. I was like, if I'm collecting artisans, then like for Topre, I'll just have the specific things I like for Topre and the specific things I like for MX, and I'm just gonna keep it like that. And that worked out pretty nicely because I, you know, enjoy both a lot. So heard too many stories. I never dove into third-party EC. Yeah. I mean, I think it will be only better from now on. Like that's really kind of like where we are now. It's someone has to finally attack that problem in a way that's pretty innovative and pretty, like, frankly speaking, very impressive. And so I'm happy for the Clever and Dynacap team to do that. You can power it down and put in MX switches into this board. Oh, I'm actually super excited to try this out on HHKB TBH because it feels like the compactness of this with the profile it looks really, oh, it looks so nice too. You know, I'm a big fan of blanks on Topre. Like, I just think Topre boards look so good with blanks. Okay, just drop that. But these legends look really crisp and very clean. Did a very good job with the legend work here. The sizing is pretty good for the amount of deep dishing happening over here. Or you know, I think it looks very nice. So if you go with legends, they will look very good. I think they are very well done. We should get you blanks then. I mean, I'm probably gonna get blanks. Yeah, I'm just a huge blanks guy when it comes to Topre, so I can't avoid it. Actually, I need to go canonical. I don't know why I put this one. Let's go canonical. So I would do basically the system keys and 1U alts. There we go. Now we have an HHKB. Perfect. All right, and the return. There we go. That's the way it should be. Thanks for the nice comments on the legends. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, well deserved, and I think it's I mean, look at that. Look at this. It looks so good. It looks so nice. Seriously though, oh yeah, you can on this at this view you can actually see the amount of scoop you get, right? So it's like fairly deep, you know. So I do anticipate there will be people who will buy it and feel disappointed. That's, I think, a guarantee, because relatively, like, you know, like scooped keycaps like these are really not for everyone. That's a lesson I've learned the hard way. I've spent a lot of money to find out that I didn't like them as much. This one is actually pretty, like, it's, the profile itself is lower in height though, that it's a bit more comfortable. But I've tried a lot of other sphericals that I just didn't enjoy. I just couldn't. And I was like, I spent a lot of money for it. I should totally enjoy it. And no, the answer was no, so I just ended up getting rid of it. You know, there will be people who, if you're coming from cylindrical, or even if you're coming from other spherical stuff, you might not like the way it feels, and that's fine. Just know that the scoop is significant, and if you think you're willing to try it, I think it's worth a shot, because they are subtly but nicely made. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to try this. Let's see. Okay, so enough yapping. More trying. Let's see, where's my cable here? Okay. It's a nice middle ground. Yeah, MT3 wasn't for me either. I hated MT3, dude. I hated MT3. I'm so sorry, but like, I tried MT3 and I sold it like 2 days later. I was like, there are two profiles that I sold immediately. MT3 and XDA. XDA was early on when I was still trying uniform keycap profiles like DSA and all those. DSA is miles better than XDA, first of all. Way better. Way better, in my opinion. The texture of XDA is so ass. Like, it's so bad. Ugh. MT3 didn't have a texture issue, but it did have some other problems with legends, fuzzy legends, like not lined up and things like that, as well as the profile just being a little too aggressive. So there was that. Oh. Burley. Oh, quick question on the plebs. Watch the ads. Any ideas for Topre spacebars very slightly sticking? Oh, slightly sticking? I would check two things. So let's look at spacebars. So this is what the spacebar looks like, right? This is what OEM spacebars look like. I would personally investigate, first of all, if your spacebar is actually sitting straight. Or like relatively uniformly, because so, you know, after it clips onto the center part, these sides kind of have to clip on relatively well to the little stabilizer portions. When the bar is warped, you might sense some sticking. Another thing that you might just want to look out for. I mean, you can also try like a lot of the Topre bars or Topre space bars and OEM keyboards will have that little spring. Try removing the spring just to see how it's like. If you modded your keyboard, also it is possible that it might have been over looped a little bit. Modifiers on Topre are not nearly that sensitive to over looping, but it can happen. Specifically, this individual sliders, those tend to be a bit more sensitive to over looping. I tend to go pretty light on the loop on the actual you know, the rails where the sliders go. So check that too. So those are kind of like 2 or 3 places where you can check. So number 1 would be straightness of the keycap itself. Number 2 would be checking both sides of these little rectangular stems, or clip portions, and then finally checking your lubing if you did any modding on that. And then I guess the last thing is try removing that spring if it's in there. Usually addressing those 4 things will probably get you where you need to be. But yeah, the straightness of the spacebar does matter, because there are some third party, for example, like PBT spacebars out there that may be kind of warped. Like sometimes they look kind of like, ooh, like this. Kind of have like a slight waviness on the one side. So yeah, do check both. Yeah, I've been living with it for a bit. Is like the name of the game for a lot of these like OEM adjacent modifications. You first are like, oh yeah, it must just be the way it is, the way it's made, but then yeah, it does drive you crazy eventually. So I get that. I feel called out as a user. Okay, look, I have no issues with the people who use XDA, but personally, I hated the texture. That was the number 1 thing I hated the most on XDA. If XDA had this texture similar to DSA, it would have been nice. Oh hi Kiwi, what's up? He came here. Okay, let's try this out. Stop the music. And all right, typing test waiting room is closed, and we will now type on an HHKB. So this HHKB, I should clarify what it's modded with. So this is my Pro 2 with purple sliders. So I will say this is HHKB Pro 2, age 45 gram slider, dome, sorry. This is a 2008 domes. And then we have RF purple sliders with silencing. And then this is currently lubed with you can tell this is an old lubing or modding of this particular board, because this is lubed with Krytox thin formulation. This is like the pre-mixed formulas that they used to have on like a few different stores back in the day. Krytox thin mix. All right, let's try it out. This is before like 3204 and 205G0 were a thing. So yeah, okay, here you go. There it is. Ignoring the spacebar loop, or should this complement HKB? Well, yeah. Ignore my spacebars being a little rattly. That's just the number of years on them. Honestly, apologies. Okay, so here for the mods. It's very nice. It's immersive. I only have 2 out of 5 words with nice sounding spacebar. It's like RNG for me. This is real. Tuning Topre is a little bit of an adventure too, even though it's fairly simple. It's not that hard to tune Topre in terms of like opening it up and doing all the screws and all that. But the mods can be a little bit of a crapshoot, so I kind of feel that. I still find myself questioning my own job on people's boards, and I try my best, but yeah, Topre tuning is a little tricky sometimes. Sort of high pro sound without overly roomy. Yeah. It's definitely not very roomy sound. The keycaps are definitely a much lower, so nice and compact sort of sound. All right. Can I hear the sound, please? Yeah, sure. Do you want to hear it again? All right. Yeah, so I think they sound great on HHKB, the keycaps, and so very nice. Let me see. Hold on. I thought I had another one I could use. This might. Oh wait, no, it's not it. Oh, it's here. I was wondering. All right, so that was another HHKB. I mean, not another, one of the HKBs. I have a different one. This one is looped a little bit differently. This is sort of my pride and joy in the world of HHKBs. This is my 300 VN HHKB. Loop with, I think, Krytox 106, I'm gonna say? I don't remember exactly. I have it written down. I'm just not reading it out from the sheet. So that's why. Okay, I'll just put it down here. But this one is the 300 BN. So you know, this one typed like this. Right. So, you know, another HHKB, but you know, kind of gives you an idea. Any alu case to try them on? I do have one alu case, but it's not the best really case to try it on, so to speak. So I'll show you what it looks like. This one has 87U internals. this is my, so this is also another sort of relic of the past. So you can obviously tell that I'm really into Topre because I'm pulling out these boards left and right. But so this is my currently missing a spacebar and some other keys because I sent a couple out to what's his name, to Kiko to match some of these. I need a replacement spacebar for this. This is my Digilog case. This is an old case from wait, Digilog? Yeah, Digilog, right? Back in the day, basically it's a rectangular case with these little brass feet. Not quite little, but you know. Digilog case, and so I have this one in pink, as you can see. With this one has some issues for sure. Not the case, but the build itself. It has my 87U with 55 gram domes, and it has these Sakura keycaps, which also have their own issues actually. Some of them are slightly discolored, but you know, pretty good shape nonetheless. We can try it on this. I'm not sure if this board is still working actually. I think it is though. Oh, okay, it is. It still works. Okay. All right, we can try it on this then. How about that? We tried an HHKB. We tried it on 45U. 45 gram Realforce, but we haven't really tried it on 55 gram or an aluminum like enclosure. So we can do that, right? Is that good? So I guess that's the last thing I'll try for today. So let's do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it out here. Okay, so oh my god, to get a couple of bags over here, or maybe these trays will be good. Gonna start this. Gonna start the music back up. Okay. So this one also has purple sliders. So these actually, this Realforce came from a, this Realforce internal came from, I think it was like what was originally in my 10th anniversary case. But yeah, I tried on the Digilog. I was like, it looked nice, but excuse me, I don't love how it feels. So it's a build that I personally think I might want to rebuild in something different, and a different flavor perhaps. Maybe consider switching it to a lighter dome sheet, or different domes rather. Oops, got the wrong keycap over here. Is that a Kiko set? No, this is an original. This is an original OEM Sakura set. I traded for it like back in like 2018 or something like that. I've had it for a while. Unfortunately, it has, the set itself has some issues. Like there's some of these older sets sometimes can have some discoloration. Like my spacebar got really discolored, so I sent out some samples to Keyco to match. So yeah. Bon Kiki, el carnalgas. Love that. I don't know why I'm like alternating, switching, taking off keycaps because there's so many. Amarade, hola, hola. Topre indeed, let's go. Thank you for the 36. Well, this one looks like I switched this one to vertical for the corner. I wish I could use blank, skill issue. Yeah, I remember my first year in the hobby, I struggled big time to use blanks. But I got used to it. But yeah, it was definitely a struggle at the beginning. I was like, I have no idea what I'm typing on, but I guess you live and you learn. You keep making mistakes and you keep making mistakes and you keep making mistakes. And then you eventually get it. Takes a while. It's like being able to play the piano blindly, that muscle mem. Yeah, it takes time. I mean, you gotta practice, right? But yeah, I think you'll understand now that I haven't really had a desire to buy new Topre or new EC in a long time. I kind of navigated my whole journey through it, and then I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm done buying new Topre stuff because I'm plenty happy with what I have. I will say though, you know, now that there's a lot of these new options in terms of, you know, we have these keycaps and then we have the new EC stuff coming up. It kind of sometimes gives me that urge to maybe want to try some new, but yeah, it's gotta see myself switching from what I have to that. So it's like, always wonder if I really want to do that. It's like I'm already comfortable using what I use though. Okay. That covers those. Missing the Arizona T-mods, ice T-mods on this thing. Yeah, but that means I gotta spend more money, Rufio. And I don't want to. You see where I'm coming from? I have all these things. I already spent a lot of money. So I'll make a recording for the URSA stuff. I'll probably record them on the Pro 1 over here, and then the Realforce that we tried at the beginning of the stream, and then maybe this 55 gram one that I already have here, that I will have here. That should be probably good enough. I don't have a whatchamacallit, an FC660 or a FC980C to try, but it should be good enough. Hello, Blood Easy. How are you, buddy? Just want caps, and you can get caps, or you want to undo old boards because they're great, so get new boards. Yeah, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. I want Snow HHKB at some point. It's nice, but I wish they made the snow with the non-centered legends. This is exactly why I get blanks, right? Because these legend keycaps are not very good, especially these new ones. So yeah, that's why. Kiwi redeem when? I don't know where he is. He was here and then he left, so I'm not sure. Let me find him, and I can do that after I'm done with this. How about that? Do you have any Hypro keycaps to compare against? Unfortunately not. I sold literally all of my Hypro years ago and never endeavored to get any back because I was not interested anymore. Unfortunately, I would absolutely show you Hypro if I had it, but I don't. Yeah, I sold it and I never looked back. And I don't care to look back, which is kind of nice, actually. The feeling of knowing that you don't like something is truly amazing. I love not wanting something. I love disliking things, because that means that's money I don't need to spend on that thing. And, you know, it's great to not like something. It's good to be picky, I'll tell you that. It's good to be picky. You won't regret it. And that snap is so satisfying on Topre. Easily one of the nicest things of using Topre is when you switch keycaps and you get that little snap. It's so good, so nice. How did it go in Realforce? Is it Alt Win and then menu? I think it is. Topre is brain space. Good old mini USB from. All right, Look at this chonker. You want to see it from the side? Wait, hold on, let me adjust this a little bit. Look at this. Look at this chonky guy. So tall too. Alright. Might not be focused. There you go. I think that's probably better. Actually, let me move it slightly. Yeah, I think that should be better. Alright. Oops. Moving these. Alright, let's try typing on this. Alright. Oh. Okay, fine. Sorry, someone had to pass through. Alright. Sorry about that. Okay. Here we go. You know where I could find replacement rubber pads for the Digilog? No. Why not just look into getting some... No, he won't like it. Oh, hi, it's Kiwi. Ow, ow. Sorry. Hi, Kiwi. You guys want to see him? Here's my little orange boy. Kiwi, say hi. He wants out. Yeah, he wants out. Kiwi, what do you think about this keyboard? What do you think about this keyboard? Kiwi, you wanna try typing on this keyboard? He's like, I'm out. Kiwi, are you gonna stay here? Are you staying here? Hi. He's like, I'm out. Oh, okay. Bye. Sorry. Excuse me for that interruption. Orange Neko, yes. Oh. What's up, Kiwi? Okay. Alright, let's try typing on this. So this one is a RF 87U in Digilog case, 55 gram domes, RF purple sliders silenced, and I think, I don't remember what I looped this with. Might also be Krytox thin, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me double check. Okay, this is even older. Okay. Look at this. This is lubed with EK Mech Lube 2. That's old school. Love it. We go back further in time. Okay. Here we go. There it is. Sounds still pretty good for the number of years this has been on. Spacebar scratching my ears? Oh, just a little bit. I get it. Alright, here's the mods. We're starting with the alphas, rather. Better than ticking though. Yeah, it's a little scratchy, not so much ticking as much. But yeah, pretty good. Can we get an F13 sound test? Not possible. What's an F13? I do not know what that is. Alright. So there's a whistle, but it's cute. Yeah. How do you feel about centered versus off-center legends? If you're talking, so if we are talking about sphericals, right? My personal take is on sphericals, large centered legends look great. On cylindrical, I personally think centered legends are very much variable. It really depends how you execute it, because on cylindrical you only get like, you get this shape, right? And you like are supposed to center the legend on this, and so the curvature of this kind of ruins the way that legend looks if it's in the middle. Personally not a huge fan of center legends on cylindrical for that reason. But like you look at the, okay, this one's not, well, I mean, it is technically, you can kind of see the legends there. But these are non-centered legends, right? Pinche Liam, he's infiltrated my ads. I'm getting vacuums. Nice, time to upgrade. But I think these look kind of fine. I mean, I think it's just because we're used to it too. Like, we're used to the classic stuff. But yeah, I think on spherical though, big center legends look quite nice, especially like big capitalized center legends like this. Dyson on top. I do have a Dyson though, yeah. I'm asking because I debated with Andreas on this on Mechanicon. Like, I have. Give me a sec. Do I have a centered legend board? I might have that other board here. So, I have this, excuse it being a little dirty. It's been sitting on the living room area and whatnot. But, this is the HHKB Studio. And I have this one with centered legends, right? So, centered legends on cylindrical. Oh, is it not focusing? It's probably the mic. Centered legends on cylindrical, right? It can look okay. I mean, I personally don't like the inconsistency between having like these, capitalized letters, and then you get sort of like capital, not capital, and then this is justified bottom right, this one's justified bottom left, and then, it's sort of a mess here. It's kind of all over the place. So I personally don't like how they did it here. But if it were a little bit more consistent, maybe it would be a bit more acceptable. But I think on cylindrical also, if you centered stuff, you end up with a lot of empty space. So it looks kind of awkward. On spherical is not as obvious, because also on spherical people tend to go bigger on size. So yeah. Personally, I think off-center can work on spherical. High Pro is proof. That is true. That is true. Off-center can work on spherical. I mean, so the thing is, I feel like off-center works on most, if not all of them, because that's kind of been the case for a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of stuff wasn't centered back in the day, too. Like, like a lot of vintage stuff, too. So there's proof that there's good-looking stuff out there in computing, in vintage computing, that works with off-center stuff. That said, we evoke a sense of retro and nostalgia with the center stuff as well. So I think on spherical, people tend to associate those two things together. And in off-centered, or like, like in cylindrical, I think people tend to associate the off-center look with cylindrical as well. Do you see Sachiko and URSA? I think I saw it, yeah. Is it on the page too? Or is it just on the... no, it's probably on the server, right? Yes, it is. Oh, it is. Okay, let me check. Sachiko URSA. Just send me a link, please. Oh yeah, here. Or wait. Well, I saw a picture. Is this is bottom picture over here? It's the one with the JP, right? With the JP legends. Oh, it's on the about page. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. It's this one, right? I mean, it looks great. Oh, that one's kind of stretched up a little, but you know, this looks nice. This looks great. I think this looks fantastic. Well, that's the thing. Off-center look with sub-legends, you're balancing the two out, you know? It balances out because of that. So it looks really nice. But yeah, when you have a singular legend, it can be kind of awkward sometimes. I think this works also because the shape of the top edge kind of helps. There's other profiles out there where people have tried doing, you know, between center and off center, and some don't work. It's because of the amount of surface area you get on top. I just kind of vibe. I just kind of do not vibe with center legends. I just feel it. I just do not feel like it looks good. Oh, okay, that's fair. I mean, that's an okay take, to be honest. I mean, it's a fine take. I mean, so do you feel like this just looks bad, or I don't know, cheap, perhaps? Like, I mean, people draw associations eventually. Like with brands or things that they tend to see often. So I mean, I think this looks really clean. Like, it's very clean for you know, something with legends. And there's also symbols too. Like, there you have to factor in, like, these have symbols. Some of these, like the shift, the tab, have symbols. So kind of helps there to fill up this space here, like especially on the shift, like the long shift. Holy moly, man! If this just said shift like this, there's like, you could fit like 3 shift words on this one key. But you know, don't like the font, but it's cool, I guess. I mean, everyone's kind of like personal take on this, right? Yeah, it really does depend on the context and what you've been exposed to as well. I personally think it's nice. But I have a strong association with center legends and like spherical profiles. But some people prefer the off-center stuff, so I get it. Is Topre stem that Topre doesn't even want to release themselves? That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, the shape on URSA is so nice though. So I can show you the side profile of this board. Look at this tall board. This is the Digilog case. So it kind of looks like that. That's the side profile, right? So it's the top row is on the taller side, but it's not excessively tall. It's not your SA type of tall, or you know, it's tall, but it's not like crazy. This is kind of like if you were like looking at it from the front, sort of like if you were like kind of sort of sitting on the desk, or maybe like this even. But yeah, it's a nice profile, genuinely. I mean, I still do feel like, personal opinion is that the dish on the keys is a little strong for me, like for my own use, but it's still not strong enough that it deters me from wanting to use it. Like, I don't make as many mistakes as I used to, like on Typro. On Hypro I would actually like get stuck on keys, essentially, like actual having skill issue. But you know, it's skill issue, but yeah, I just didn't like it. I just didn't like typing on Hypro. Like, I sold it for a reason. I tried it for like a solid year before I like decided it was just not for me. But like, you know, I don't have any more hyper, unfortunately, to compare. That'd actually be nice because it would kind of dispel some of my biases that I built over that time. In fact, I would rather not have that bias, but in retrospect, though, I'm very happy that I sold my hyper. It means I just never had to bother with it ever again. But I do think URSA. I mean, I'm a guy for blanks, so I probably will, want to get some blanks of these, to put on some of the boards. I think like blanks. I personally think blanks on that natural Realforce, the white version, the regular version Realforce, the ivory, like match to that color. Oh, on blanks it'll look so clean. Oh my god, just imagining it is like nut. It's so good. Like black blanks clean, but something about having the two-tone, it's gonna be like. Anyway, just imagining it, I'm like, ooh, or RF, like this style, like the 10th anniversary style. Holy moly, bro. Ooh, sheesh. Ooh, 10th anniversary scheme is such a hot, actually that one is a little off. The gray and the blue are off because I'm using like third-party stuff. Like the actual color is this. But 10th anniversary scheme is also, gives me the sweats just thinking about it. It's so good. Love 10th anniversary colorway on Topre. Anyway, URSA. So yeah, tried it out today, and I'm personally quite delighted by it. I will say I came in with fairly low expectations in the sense that I didn't want to come in with a lot of bias or just like maybe even bad takes, or just kind of try coming in just to check out the Keycaps, like try out Keycaps as if I just received them in the mail. And I am not disappointed. I am very pleased. I do like genuinely that it's somewhere in between the things that do exist out there. It's always a good thing when new products fill in a gap in the space. Means that there will always be someone who is looking for that gap, and they'll find it. So yeah, they turned out great. Like one thing that you would nitpick right away when it comes to PBT especially is quality of legends, and it's very good. Like there are some things I could nitpick. Like I could nitpick all day, like there are portions where things look a little thinner versus a little thicker, but this is PBT double shot nonetheless, and they've done a pretty good job of keeping legends nice and consistent in terms of like kerning and in terms of spacing from side to side, centering, that kind of stuff. Like it looks still pretty balanced. It's still pretty good. The symbols, like these symbols are pretty clear. Like it's important to distinguish that that's like a quotation mark versus an apostrophe. Like that's the actual question mark, interrogation mark, and so on. Like that kind of stuff is nice and consistent. The alignment looks pretty good on the Numro, for example. Obviously there's a little bit of wobble that just comes from Topre. This is just a slider design. But all things considered, it's really nicely done. It's very good quality PBT double shot keycaps. The double shot covers the entirety of the bottom of the this mold here, and so you get a full print of white essentially on the top side. So it's done very nicely. I'm grateful that I got to try it. And one thing I was definitely worried about, as any Topre person should be worried about, is the fitment of the longer keys. Right shift, enter, space bars. We tried 7U and 6U today, and they fit very well. I am very pleased by the fitment of the space bars. It's very nice and consistent. It clips on very nicely. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, it wobbles the amount that an OEM keycap will normally wobble, so that's fine. It's very nice and kind of thick and nice feeling. At the same time, it doesn't feel the same way like a resin one, you know, by Amano Studio here. You know, like this one has reinforced walls and a fully filled bottom side, right? It doesn't feel like this either. It still feels like a regular, you know, like a regular OEM cap should. So pretty nice, like genuinely keycap quality wise, you know. If you're the kind of person who doesn't give a 10 out of 10, you know, it's definitely like a 9 out of 10 and above. You know, it's very good. You could nitpick small things, but just the overall quality and consistency is very good. So happy about it. Yeah. Legends came out great. I'm actually glad that I got to see the actual legends instead of just blanks samples. So for folks out there who are going to be a bit more nitpicky, a bit more you know, concerned about the quality of the legends on the keycaps, I think they're pretty good. So so, you know, I think kind of like they can rest easy on that. Yeah, thickness variations due to injection molding, right. So so yeah, they're going for mass production pretty soon, and I believe they are aiming to be shipping out sets by the end of this year, end of Q4. So, you know, go check out the FKcaps Discord server if you want URSA updates. I believe there's a whole channel dedicated for it, and Andreas is very diligent about keeping that in check. So, you know, just follow URSA keyboards and FKcaps on all that. They're on the gram too, I believe, so you can do that. But, you know, promo things aside, it's honestly a nice set. So thanks for letting me try it. I want to try Dynacaps. Yeah, Dynacap is nice. I also feel tempted to try Dynacap in the context of MX keycaps, but I just don't want to spend the extra money. Generally, I'm just like trying so hard to like not spend more as we go. But yeah, here we are. It's okay. I'm just gonna wait for meetups and wait for more things to like pop up out there, and maybe I'll decide on something. But I'm trying not to be an early adopter too early and too quick, because I feel like you then get caught in this whole trap of I don't know. Yeah, artisan buyer, by the way. Stop it. Stop. Don't do this to me. Stop. I will also buy A through Z stock of artisans, so I'm the worst person to talk about it, but you know, here we are. Okay, folks. I think I probably will wrap things up here, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. It was a pretty much keycaps focused stream. It's rare for me to do these streams like this. And so, you know, all we talked about today was just this one keycap profile and one keycap set, but it's always fun to do Topre stuff. I do wonder if they're gonna come out with more new things, as I think Kupo was asking. Was it Kupo? 20th anniversary or something? But yeah, hopefully they do come out with new stuff. I did hear some rumors that they're coming out with some more like new, you know, HHKB, I think probably PFU, and I know that there was a recent release of the R4 for the Realforce. I have personally been uninterested myself in releases past the R1 because it lost the signature aesthetic that I liked about it. Not to mention, I obviously prefer my 1.5U modifiers. I just don't like the way 1.25U looks. So, that's, you know, that's just me. So I haven't been really interested in R2, R3, although R3 is actually very nice. Have modded a few now, and they're very nice boards. Not that hard to mod either. But you know, I'm always for more cool Topre releases. Like, you know I have obviously old Topre stuff like HHKB, you know. Oh, should I show you guys my recent precious acquisition related to HKB? Yes, it's another HHKB. I hate myself, but I only did it for the love of the game. And this is a 80 watt signed HHKB that I found recently on the secondhand market. But I also so I saw this, and I don't think I would have cared years ago, but I thought about how much I like HHKBs, and then I also thought about 80 Wada's, Dr. Wada's actual age, and then I was like, what are the chances I'm gonna find Dr. Wada signed HHKB out there? And so yes, I got it. And so yeah, anyway, another HHKB I can mod. It's currently stock. It's in pretty good shape for stock though. Sounds pretty nice. Rattly. It's an investment. Yes, right. Sure. Cause my keyboard shit is worth anything. No. Keyboards, keycaps, artisans are not an investment, guys. Please do not invest in keyboards as if they are an investment. Do not say you're investing in keyboards. You're investing in your own happiness and your own joy and pleasure of maximizing your value and output and whatever you're doing on the computer. But no, it's not an investment. It's not. You guys see the market right now? Invest in gold or something. I don't know. This is not financial advice. You know, put it into your Roth and 401k or whatever it is. Anyway. Okay. Invest in your own happiness. That's key. Don't overdo it. That's key. Don't be me. That's key. Okay? Alright. So I don't think there is any folks currently doing any streaming because it is a Friday afternoon and I'm not sure if anybody else has started doing any streams. So maybe we can just go raid the ducks. Dash ducks. They always have a lot of viewers, which is always surprising. But the duckies are very cute. Alright folks, I'll wrap it up here today. Let's... Oh, I have the numpad on. Raid dash ducks. And yes, well done, Andreas and Cart Sims, FKcaps. Thank you again for sending these out. I will be posting the VOD in 24 hours, so if you don't see it, I mean, you'll see it on Twitch, but on YouTube you'll see the actual VOD in about a day. So yeah, I hope you guys take care of yourselves, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you have any questions, you know, shoot them over. But have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your Friday. I know it's late for some of y'all, like Andreas. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. And yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Okay? Happy weekend. Bye. Take care, folks.